What's up, guys? Welcome back to the TCG Scrubs Podcast. It's just the usual dudes, myself, Colin, and Joey over here. If you guys want to help support the things that we do here, real quick, we'll get this part out of the way. You can visit Happy Little Hug Factory, a link in the description down below, where you can check out pre-orders for the next set, which I believe are already up, as well as an updated list of singles that they're selling, so you can go check that out. See, I don't know if their buy list has been updated at all, but you can check that out.
No, he said it's in the pipeline, but the main thing was updating the actual singles prices for buying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys can check that out as well, and I'm sure if you've missed out on some product, if it's still in stock, you'll find it on the website as well. But the link in the description below lets them know that we sent you over, and all purchases through it help support the channel over here. And then also to patreon.com/TCG Scrubs, where you can become a patron. And we're trying to, we had a roll of doing cool content. We're going to get back on that. We do the Patreon podcast, which is exclusive over there. You can go check that out as well. But any little bit kind of helps support us and gets some things going. We have some cool stuff in the works that we were thinking about to see if we can make happen. Especially because Joey's been moving to Texas again soon, so we'll have some.
I'm pretty excited.
It won't be like all the time, but we'll plan little things out where we can get to one of each other's houses to be able to record some sort of content. We had some ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah, patreon.com/TCG Scrubs. You want to check that out. And I did only really have one topic, or two really. One's more of a little news update, and then a topic later. But it might be a shorter podcast. We'll see what happens. But Colin, I think you had some stuff you want to go over first.
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly go over, if you guys follow, I've been doing all the interviews and coverage of indie games, or in some cases larger games, but maybe not necessarily TCG, like the deck builder and stuff like that. But I just wanted to give some updates for, if you guys have missed it, to check out the interviews I did with Zoo Tiles. There's 3 videos total. The third video should be released today as well, I believe. And the first video we talk about Zoo Tiles. The second one we talk about the future of the game as far as expansions, conventions, stuff like that. And the third video that's coming out, we'll talk about like the process of creating the game and stuff like that. But it's super cool. It's a super cool game. And right now the pre-order is only like 20 something bucks for 80 tiles. But it plays like a TCG but with tiles, and uses the stack kind of like Force. Well, it's really interesting, I thought. So I have those interviews up. I will have a more Spellweaver content coming out for those who are interested in that. They gave me some spoiler cards to do a video on, which was super cool, and they gave me some stuff to help finally make my deck that I've been trying to grind out. So I'll have some videos for Spellweaver coming out soon as well. And lastly, I want to mention that the Heart of Crown Kickstarter finally finished. They finished with like 250,000. It might have been. I think it was more than that, but it was over $200,000, and unlocked a crap ton of rewards. So that's super awesome. If you have pledge, make sure you go and do the pledge manager and everything to make sure you got everything set up for that. I think they said the release of that is, or you'll be receiving that in December. So. And December, I'm totally going to forget I got it, and then December, just a giant box is going to arrive, and it's going to make me really happy for Christmas. But we'll definitely also be recording a game for Heart of Crown at some point here, because we have the digital client. We just got to get everyone together, because I really want to do that with Melissa as well, so it's just a matter of coordinating stuff like that. But hopefully we'll have some content for Heart of Crown and Tanto Kure as when that digital client comes out as well. But yeah, I've just been really enjoying doing all these different individual card games and stuff like that. So make sure you guys, if you're interested, follow that stuff. And eventually I'll talk about this less on the podcast when I finally set up the formatting and stuff I want for the weekly news video for these types of card games.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Heart of Crown was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Game. Yeah, it was,
Oh yeah, I forgot your first time was playing the digital one.
Yeah. And we only played a couple games, right? Or how many?
We've only played it twice, but I really like that it has a lot of like variability and replayability, and it's like, you play with kind of different decks, and I really enjoy just kind of deck builders in general. So
yeah, it's a really good idea. I kind of wish like some of the other ones we've played had done that, like the Rick and Morty ones, where it's like you have these various storylines you can go down. So it's like you're not using all the cards all the time. You always have these different things happening.
And also the option of like completely customizing it yourself, so you can be like, oh, let's just do all of this type of card or some weird variations.
And like, I like that you get to choose which princess you can you can back also. So like in Rick and Morty and stuff, you kind of just deal out your ruler or whatever you call it. In Heart of Crown, you actually, whoever gets to like a certain point can actually have like first pick of some of the leaders, I guess. And so like if you really like one might be, I feel like they're kind of pretty okay balanced. I haven't really played with any of the other princesses yet, but but I like that there's a lot of variability.
Yeah.
A lot of replayability, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
No, I agree.
So that's all you had. I was going to go over the GP update. So we're recording Tuesday night. We're a little bit later than normal. It should have been up already, but sorry about that. Last night, though, Monday night, there was actually an announcement from Force of Will on the GP updates where Collinsville was confirmed. It's still going to be happening at the end of this month. I forget the exact date of Collinsville. And then if you looked at the calendar on the actual website, which was linked in the post, it took you to the part where it showed the Games and Geek one from Minnesota has actually been moved because it was canceled due to COVID in May. It's now actually going to be in September, I believe it showed. And then the GPs that are on the rest of the board, which when Collinsville was happening, there should have been a Canada one as well, which is delayed now. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't say to be determined, just as delayed. And then Dallas, which should have been in July, is also delayed. And there's another one or two down the road from that. Everything's pretty much delayed at this point, and it looks like they're playing it by ear. But
make it to Dallas or something.
What's that?
I was saying maybe we can make it to Dallas or something.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I saw an update to it from, I'm guessing it's one of the tournament organizers who was saying that, obviously once a date's found, and there'll be updates to it, but I'm guessing it's not going to be in July anymore.
It's safe to assume.
Yeah. But I guess if you're planning on going out there, it looks like there's a group of people trying to get together. There was some requirements, obviously, for what's been happening with COVID, that you have to wear a mask at all times, and they're going to do a weird kind of stagger to the seating. I'm not sure. I don't think anybody's sure how staggered it's going to be, because people are concerned where if it's overly staggered, maybe it's chances that your opponent cheats with something. Because it is kind of to the side, but I guess if it's semi-staggered, further to the side a little bit, might work out. And
I'm curious how they'll do it. 'Cause, maybe they'll make it so that you can't do cards interactions, like giving your opponent a card to put under their resume or something. They just have to represent it with something else.
Oh, true.
So that, because as soon as you hand them your card, then having staggered and all that stuff is pointless. Well, not pointless, but it's not ideal. So I assume maybe they'll have some sort of something in place of like, hey, this needs to go there. We'll supply some extra just blank token looking things that are generic looking. But it'll be interesting. Someone had asked, I didn't see if there was an answer for it, but someone had asked if they'll be checking people's temperature as they come in. I assume they will, but I didn't see if they had replied to that yet. They might still be in the planning stages as well. When does Collinsville take place again?
As I told you, I didn't know the exact date. I would have to look it up again. I wasn't trying to click on stuff, but it. They'll also have hand sanitizer on location, and I mean, still wash y'all's hands while you're out there, and you're even between rounds. It doesn't hurt to stop, walk away, wash your hands, and then come back again if it's a concern to you.
When they said they'll be washing stuff down, right? Like when you're in between games, when everyone gets it from the tables, they'll come and wipe everything down in the chairs.
I remember seeing that, so I may have skimmed it or just missed it.
I don't know if I saw. I thought I saw something like that, but I could be wrong. But I'd assume they're doing something like that as well. So there's definitely ways to make it safer. It also depends on when it takes place. If it hopefully it's in like August or something like that, but it should be interesting. I'm more curious about how they're running an event more than like what top 8 and stuff will be. I just want to see how this plays out visually, like you said, with the staggering and all that stuff.
I am interested on both ends of it, kind of how it plays out. If for anybody who's been to Collinsville in the past, it is a new venue as well, so make sure you check out the website and look for their announcements. It's just fowtcg.com, and you can see where it's at because it's at a newer place than the last one, which had like 3 hotels right next to it, which was a convention center last time.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's gonna be a lot of challenges, and like I don't know how the bar of how safe you can really realistically get it. Like my thing is like there's a whole lot of checks and balances that you can make that ideally would work, but then you have to take into account just regular human behavior. Like let's say as soon as people sit down they have to like hand sanitize, so like that should start so you should be fine. But then let's say somebody's like rubbing their eyes or something, or somebody like hands you something. Like I like Colin's idea of you can't touch other people's cards. And like you can't interact with if I play something that steals your resonator, I feel like you shouldn't actually get the resonator. Stuff like that where like you shouldn't be able to shuffle their deck. Maybe I don't know. There's a whole lot of
there's some tricky stuff with that. Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting. I feel like there definitely is a possibility of getting it safe because if you do have like a mask and some sort of like sneeze barrier, like maybe that might be enough, but maybe it might not.
I didn't even think about that, like cutting someone's deck and stuff like that. That'll be, because I was just thinking in my head as you were talking, like how do you get around that? And the only way I could think of is if you had a judge do it who had gloves, but then they'd have to change their gloves for every single person playing to cut their deck or whatever for the. And that's a lot of gloves and a lot of time to go through.
Assuming certain whichever safeness you're comfortable with, they could be going by and like shuffle hand sanitizer.
I was thinking about that
even
too.
Even that's kind of insane.
They'll have really dry hands at the end of the night.
Yeah, because like you have to shuffle for you have to shuffle for your opponent, and then you have to shuffle for another person, another opponent. That's like two hand sanitizer squirts like each pairing. And Forceful probably only get like 20 to 30 people, but that's still like 6.
Well, and then you go against one of the decks that search their deck all the time, so they're constantly having to reshuffle their deck.
There's just a whole lot of discussion that'll have to be, and I think a lot of it too is how comfortable you are with going to something like that, where if let's say they change the floor rules or something so that you don't have to shuffle your opponent's deck. Are you okay with them possibly cheating or anything like that? Are you okay with shuffling your opponent's deck, and that's a risk that they're gonna have to allow because of this or that? It's a lot of it's like see the guidelines and kind of be like, oh, you know what, I don't like that and I don't think I'm gonna go, or I do like that, I think it's gonna be safe enough to go.
Yeah, and like you said, it comes down to your personal comfort. And, well, your personal comfort combined with those around you. Like, if you live in a house with your parents who are older, you'll want to take that into account as far as that. After we get all the, obviously, information is still coming in on what they'll do as far as safety for this. So, obviously, don't, make a decision right now on whether to go or not. Wait till all the information comes out. But, like you said, Joe,
And, think about, Collinsville might be a better site than Dallas because Texas has reopened 2, 3, 4 weeks ago already, so and there's already an increase in cases, so Dallas might even be a way higher risk than going to something like Collinsville or one of the other GPs.
It's true. I mean, they reported record high whatever after the reopening, but
it's funny watching the graph of. I look at the daily graph, and it's just been ever since we opened, it's just been slowly going up and up and up each day. But
yeah. So, I mean, I think it's it's nice, as content creators and stuff that we're getting more GPs. I'm interested to see people actually get to play decks. Oscar had told me about like an online tournament that they had that I thought was pretty interesting. Their top 8 was like 4 Sigurds or something and like 3 Arlas, something like that. I don't exactly.
Yeah, no, I forget.
Over...
It was an Italian event of some sort. It had 16 players. It was online, and
16.
I forget already. That number just sounded right. So it wasn't the teens though. It was like a 11 to 16 range.
Yeah. 11's not a teen, but yeah, it's good.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Over 10.
11 teen.
And like I like to hear all that stuff. I like to hear about some of the what are the professionals doing.
I mean, I'm what are we gonna see like pretend numbers here? Like 60 people show up, and we have reflect days where it's like there was 40 Sigurd variant players with various rulers in place, and the rest were Arlas.
I think it'll be like one of two things. It'll either be something like that because there haven't been any events, so people are like, okay, that's what's considered the broken combo, so we're all going to go with that, and it'll be like that. Or it could be the reverse of that for the same reason of like, hey, there hasn't been an event in a while, and we're a couple sets since the last event, so sort of this jumbled thing of different decks carry over, and so it'll be this weird like hodgepodge of a bunch of different decks that'll whittle down to some, but it'll it doesn't really give an impression. I don't think either of those options really give a good impression of the meta until there's at least one more event after it before the next set comes out. I think you need at least two to 3 events to get an idea of what the meta actually is. It'll either be like flooded with one deck, which may not necessarily mean the deck is OP, it's just people there's nothing to go off of. Surprise. Or the reverse, which also does not mean that it's necessarily a diverse meta. It's just, same reasoning. So I'm still curious to see what it is because, there's been nothing to really go off of for a long time. So.
One of my favorite parts is to be at the moment we're in right now, where everybody's like, the Sigurd combo decks, the some Arla thing or even a Melga thing, whatever, right? And we're like, okay, we've seen some examples of that, either shared in global group or whatever. But to me, the more exciting part is when the GP happens. You're like, oh, there's that Melga stick. Oh, man, they took this card in. That's crazy. They did that because they knew Sigurd would be here. I don't know. Stuff like that where you're like, those decks didn't look like that 2 weeks ago, but now they do because they have to counter the hard meta and stuff.
And like my thinking, too, is I'll see, like, 1 or 2 things, like me seeing Oscar turn 2 combo kill me was like oh my gosh, like I didn't know, I didn't fully understand that's what happened, and so now it's like so that's something that I could see, but then it's like, well, how does the Sigurd combo deal with that? How does Arla deal with that? It's all this different stuff, and for me it's like, wow, that was pretty OP, and like Lenneth is pretty good anyways, and like you can constantly recur that that card with the Catechist mana, and like me thinking about that, it's like, man, that's okay. Lenneth sounds pretty strong, and and then it's like, oh no, Lenneth isn't actually good. Like they brought Melgus or Prisha this to the the GP, and that's what's obviously way stronger. But so it was 16 participants. Top 8 was 3 Sigurds, Sigurd combos, 4 Arlas, and 1 Loki. So just to just an interesting thing that I thought was pretty cool. Really enjoy hearing all that top 8 talk.
Oh yeah. No, that's pretty cool. 2 weeks away. I feel like it's going to be this weekend the way we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I can't wait to go see some of this. Jeremy should be there, I believe. Yeah, he is going to be there, streaming the event, so you guys can check out the
when
School YouTube channel.
Wait, are we talking about the GP?
Yeah.
When is the GP?
It's like 2 weeks.
Oh.
When did you think?
They better have a lot of safety precautions. I was thinking this was happening in August. Holy crap. Okay. Teach their own. I'm not going to that. I am not going to that.
Okay. Another thing that I thought, but I didn't want to bring up because I thought it was
June 27th and 28th.
Oh my gosh, June 27th. That's fast.
We're not even, all our staff isn't even going to be back to work by then. Okay, go ahead, Jay.
little. I was just gonna mention that's gonna look really weird on stream if it's too staggered. Cause it's gonna be like square, but
yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens, how that's handled when the stream starts up, or if it, I don't know, the subject comes up in the next year. I haven't even thought about asking about that, but yeah, we'll see what ends up happening on that stream thing. But there should be a stream then on the channel either way. But other parts of it, which I think we skimmed over it pretty quickly, was the Ubers, which are pretty cool there. The old Ascended rulers of, what's it called? Alice, Priscia, Aliceris, and their Uber versions, which I thought was neat. At first I was kind of like, oh, it's okay, it's an Uber. It would be expensive as an actual pulling an Uber because, you get them at GP for top 16. But when you flip them over, I thought it was pretty neat. The effect they put on the border kind of glows in the color of the attribute of the ruler, so red, white, and green.
Which is a really smart idea. I kind of wish all Ubers were like that now, because Ubers have always highlighted a specific color, but it's like, oh yeah, why not make the border the color of the ruler as well? It makes it pop out a lot more, I think.
I thought it was pretty awesome.
Because I had the same reaction of oh, okay, whatever. And then you showed me the other side, and I was like, oh, wait, no, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. And in fact, what was it? Whenever we had the old ones, it was always a colored part, and it was always kind of darkish, hard to see maybe. I'm going by memory here. I haven't actually grabbed one and looked at one in a while. But seeing the pictures of these, I was like, wow, they really glow on the edges. It's actually really cool. I didn't know they could get that effect of that fade on there with that silver, whatever that was. But I don't know, it was pretty neat. So, another incentive if you're going to Collinsville and to try to get top 16 at least and grab one of those. You still have the participation promos, which are the other Ubers from DBV, the
Uber
SRs.
Resonators.
Yeah, Uber Resonators.
Yeah, and you can get those rulers to play that super supported format that Force Will does called Wander.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of, on day 2, there's actually a $300 Wanderer tournament being held as a side
put on by Games and Geek. Yeah, they have some...
Which is cool. I had one question. I didn't ask it. Well, maybe I'll ask it, but as much as Svetlana, are they going, I'm guessing, by official Forceful ban list then, right? Not
I think they'll do the
thing that
I'm going to assume they'll do the European ban list for Wanderer.
Okay.
If I had to take a guess.
Don't assume if you're listening to this. Definitely look for an answer on that, unless
that's why I said I assumed as well. Yeah.
I'm just making sure that anybody listening knew that. Because I have no idea. That's just something I was wondering. What they end up doing.
Yeah,
but there's other pods that could fire off too for other events. Go ahead, because I was about to move it along.
No, I was just going to say they said there'll be more information coming out. I think probably in the for the remainder of this week. So keep an eye on the Force World Global Facebook page, where as Svetlana usually posts updates and stuff regarding the GP.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's also going to be a little side event pods that you can fill up. Usually 6 players show up and they fire off various things. I forget all of them. I just remember seeing epic stories in there. So if you have epic stories deck, bring it with you. And if you don't top 8 day 2, you can go do that.
Yeah, no, it's I like side events a lot.
It's so much funner. So going to a GP is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun when you go to it. I had a good time. Joey's never been to one, right?
Yeah. I went to Vegas.
Oh, yeah, Vegas. But that's a little bit different, I feel, than when you go to a giant convention hall and there's one hall is filled with you and you're pretty much the only ones in the building. So it's this exclusive cool thing. But you have the I guess the grind of day 1, which is God, how are you doing? I lost the game, whatever. Oh, what did he run? This and that. As opposed to day 2 is super chill, top 8's in the corner somewhere. Up can't be interrupted. Don't go near them. And there's all these cool side events, people pulling their binders out and trading. It's actually really fun. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I like sort of the everything around a GP of hanging out with people, doing the trading or trading in stuff at the Games and Geek booth, and they have a lot of rare cards and stuff you can get, which helped me when I was there at Games and Geek last year. Was it last year?
It was last year.
For the GP, I went and just got as many cards as I physically could to max rarity my Epic Stories deck, including getting some Valhalla cards that would also go into it as well, which was super fun. And then doing different side events. the Win-A-Box pods and stuff like that is a lot of fun. Being able to actually like break out my Epic Stories deck or do Wander if you're into that, and or New Frontiers where you're able to play with the people who aren't really good and still playing in the actual event. So it's sort of whittled down so you can feel a little bit better about yourself. If you like top 4 in an 8-person pod, you're like, oh, see, I'm not that bad. So it
was pretty cool. I got to sell cards too at the Games and Geek booth, and picked up some OG Valhalla cards for Epic Stories because we play with those in our Epic Stories decks. I think it's been more than a year, by the way. Because
I was thinking about that. It might have been 2 years now.
We're all doing the Scheherazade decks when we went.
At Games and Geek?
Yeah, we're in Collinsville. You and me in Collinsville, not when you went to Minnesota. When you and me went to Collinsville that one time.
Okay. Probably. I was thinking of when I went by myself.
Yeah, when you went by yourself was a year ago.
Yeah, okay. That one was really fun.
Yeah.
Mostly because maybe it's because I was by myself. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
No, it was super cool because the little hotel you stayed at was like right next to Games and Geek. Where they were holding the events, so you're able just to walk through over to there. So that was super nice and convenient for like people lazy like me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So make sure you go to FOWTCG.com and look within there. I think events news. You'll find all the information you might be looking for that we didn't give to you. Rest of the GPs, besides 2 mentioned, were pretty much delayed until further notice. And from there, we were going to go to talk about the pre-release we're doing. So if you're unfamiliar, was it a few weeks ago, or even before Ghost in the Shell came out, I was like, boom, bright idea. I was like, why don't we do like a kind of this content creator pre-release? The 3 of us will practice with Ghost in the Shell. It went smooth. And then we brought 3 more people into it to do a proper pre-release of a six-person pod type thing. We got Jeremy at Ruler School. We got Josh Patton from Rogues Guild and Mike Rantz from Deepwood Force of Will. And we got to draft AO3. It was like kind of like a one issue after the other, because at first I was trying to make sure Mike was in it, but it was this big if, and then it happened, and then we did pairings, and it was just like Joey's product hadn't come in yet. So then we were like, where's the product? It's like, oh, it hadn't been sent out yet. So it's like, well, now it's sent out. Then he got it. So like week 1 took us a while to nail down. But after that, it's been pretty smooth and going pretty quickly.
Yeah, I got my product, and then I was kind of like, okay, I have to get the ball rolling. And I was like, so I have to open it, film myself opening in it, make an actual deck, and then I have to go play Jeremy. And I think I was able to do it all in the same afternoon, luckily. But yeah, and yeah, it took like, I felt bad because it's like, like I was holding up the entire round pairings because everybody else had their games like 5 days ago, 6 days ago. But so far it's been pretty good.
Yeah, we did deck building. Everybody kind of did theirs a little bit differently. For the most part, the 3 of us and Jeremy were pretty much exactly as said, but Patton's was different. I had to just, it was just him opening his packs, and he never really built the deck. So it's just a fast-forwarded clip of him opening packs, and then it goes to Colin doing his deck building. And then Mike took actually longer than Joey, I think, with his, only because he was opening the packs one at a time. So I just sped that chunk up. So it ended up being shorter than Joey's in the end, because I just cut that bit up.
Okay,
but he then properly builds his deck at the end of the video, which
first of all, I was doing that too. And I feel like we probably had like the same idea of like talking through each card as we're opening each card, and then actually building like the deck and discussing what cards we put in the deck. I pretty much, my video was gonna be like, I think it was like 16 minutes once I had it all like done, and then I basically completely cut my reactions to opening each cards, each pack, and I pretty much sped that up. I got to the end, And then, like, so that people can see what I actually pulled, but then I kind of went through my ideas of, okay, so these are all my 1 cost, these are my 2 costs, these are my 3 costs, and this is all what's in the deck, and this is why it's in the deck. And then that was pretty much it. Because I had to compromise, because, yeah, it was, I didn't realize it was going to take me 15 minutes to get through all.
My favorite part about all this was, like, both times, the Ghost in the Shell one with just us, and now, Joey's like, how long? I'm like, 7 minutes. And he's like, oh, could it be a little bit longer? I'm like, fine, me and Colin didn't use full 7 minutes, just here's 9. And you're like, okay. And you're like, okay, so I cut a lot out and I'm at 14 minutes still.
I was like at the beginning of me starting to open my packs, I made this kind of like tongue-in-cheek comment like okay guys, so I have to make this a little quicker because my boss got mad at me.
I heard it. I was watching.
And so I started. And I just kind of like got into a groove. I opened everything. I was like, okay, now I'll put the camera here and I'll just do, I'll just put out my deck and then I'll stop and that'll be the super sped up portion and then I'll record myself and I'll actually go through and talk about each card. And then I like put it all together and it was like 15 minutes. And I was like, damn it. I even said that I was going to go faster this time and I went slower. I legit took longer doing this one than the Ghost in the Shell one.
Yeah.
But to be fair, there's a lot less vanillas in this one.
Yeah.
And on this one though, when you're like you're at some point you said, I'm at this many minutes. I was like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Just send it over. It's fine. I don't care how long it is.
I was able to cut it down to 7 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
But,
which for everybody listening to the opening portion, which has everybody opening theirs, one portion at a time, is it's been up on the channel since Monday when it released. And round 1 is actually up right now, which is me versus Patton. You can go check that out. When you're watching this, so by this point where we're at now, we're on round 3, which is the final round. By the time you're hearing this, me and Joey have already played, which we're paired up currently. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say the pairings. And somebody else is done. Yeah. We're waiting on somebody. We're waiting on one last pair, and then we got everybody done.
Yeah, because I was gonna say one pairing is definitely a super spoiler.
Well, if they sit there and they're like, wait, 2, 3, I saw game 1. Hold on, and it's like that Charlie meme from It's Always Sunny with the charts everywhere to kind of figure out how we're doing.
The games are really well though. I think all 6 of us all really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making my deck, and I think everybody enjoyed at least playing with the cards. Green black with the white is definitely the best. I think everybody made that deck, but
no, it looks like everybody enjoyed it, like you said. I know that some of them were like, I'll definitely do this again. Just let me know. And we had done this as a result of all the COVID stuff happening as a way to get a pre-release going, and if you missed it because your shops are closed and you just had to buy product and open it at home, hopefully you can enjoy this. A lot of banter back and forth, which is hilarious whenever I see you guys doing y'all's things. And what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. So we could always do it another time for whenever we want, next set or a set from now or whatever. I think if we do it, I still enjoyed this actually before the podcast, that if we ever did it again, I think on my end, we won't capture every single one of the gameplays, only because it's a lot of editing on my part, because a lot of people, when they watch it, especially with these newer cards, I really appreciate when they see the cards show up on the screen. So I've been having to go through the entire 50-minute game, putting those cards in, as opposed to a normal gameplay where you just clip ins and let it go from there, which is much faster. But we probably wouldn't capture every single game, just, I think Joey was saying it'd be cool to see somebody's storylines, just you capture everything of Patton and Mike Rance the entire way and see what happens in the end with where they ended up, which I thought sounded kind of cool, kind of funny, this rivalry thing.
Yeah, and I think something else that could be really interesting, we could try even starting to I wish we could set up some kind of draft setting where everybody gets 3 or 4 packs. I don't really remember how Forceful does it. I think it would be 3 rounds.
I forget. It was somewhere around 4.
But yeah, then if we mapped our packs and then gave everybody, and then see, the issue is setting up some kind of virtual environment where we could pick and pass cards, because I can't pass my pack to Mike or something, and he's like, okay, well I think I'm gonna take this card. It's well, I already know what you took, so kind of defeats the purpose. But if it could be some kind of like thing like that, I think it would be really cool. But I have no idea how.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I think like a third party who's not playing the game who can set everything up for a pot of 6 people.
You know what I'm just thinking? Okay, hold on. I actually think there is some brainstorming that we could do. We could definitely set up like a 6-person lackey environment where like all 6 people are there. We map our packs, put it into our hands, put one into our like sideboard or graveyard, and then just click and drag all the rest into somebody else's hand. And then like rotate like that, right?
Yeah, actually you could. You just and lackey would only be used for those who prefer untap, like for at least a drafting portion, because it makes this what he's talking about possible to do, while me remain discreet. Actually, I didn't think about it. That's a really good idea.
Well, we would have to like keep the entire gameplay on lackey though, or transfer our decks onto untap, because we can't have an actual deck, because if I have a pack, then everybody's gonna have one card from my pack, and that would be it. But maybe it's something to think about.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, let's take it. It does take it digitally.
Yeah. I feel like the idea of like getting a physical pack keeps the randomness in it, and then getting to draft it, in an online environment where we just transfer each card to that.
Yeah, I think the only one, it takes it digitally away from the whole physical thing, which is another reason why we did the pre-release the way we did. We're playing with cards in our hands, but it's a cool idea too. It would just be like whoever we get would have to be patient for the first initial steps, because I think that explaining process will seem like a miles high obstacle type thing. But like once you get to that spot, you look back like, oh, okay, it was actually really easy, and I realized I just didn't know what you're talking about, because I can see that happening. But that'd be a pretty cool idea. We can get that going. Even if we did physical cards again in more of a sealed pre-release again in the future, we found out through this that like if you're not capable of recording your video, but you have a way of turning your camera down to do a field view, we're actually able to capture the video. So maybe we can incorporate somebody who has the camera but can't record or something like that in the future. But change it up a bit. I'd even step down for a second if everybody else wants to play. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's tough talking more about it because, again, you'll be seeing round 1 this entire week, but we're already on round 3 and are wrapping things up.
Yeah. I'm recording my final game.
Do you want to talk about our decks, or just kind of go on?
Yeah, they're relatively similar across the board, I think.
No, I never got my Seraph, which I'm pretty not happy about. I think I pulled 4 SRs, but they weren't very. Only 2 of them were actually really good.
I was sad that I didn't pull any Blood of the Mikages. That's me and Joey haven't played yet, but we were gonna play tonight, and he now knows I don't have Blood of the Mikage. But no, I'm sad. I see everybody doing their cool combat tricks and stuff like that, incorporating what's that? Resident of the whatever.
Residence of the Black City.
Yeah, the Black City.
Jeremy pulled that against me like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, okay, I have that too. I'm gonna start doing that. And it's like, oh, that's good. That's really good. Like, I think I did that against one of my other opponents at a different time.
Yeah, well, Colin in his round 1 game tries to play it quick at speed. Blood of the Mikage.
Oh
my gosh.
Also, if we're gonna watch Colin's gameplay, it doesn't matter in the end, but he misses like 3 life gain triggers in the game in game 1.
It's fine.
Yeah. There's a big difference in the speed of play and the way everything plays out, because like we did spoilers where we don't really look in depth in all the cards. Meanwhile, all our opponents for the most part are pretty highly competitive people who memorize them, forwards and backwards. So while on our end there's a lot of what was that, or even missing triggers, because I had to be reminded of a drain trigger as well. But it's like that was on our end, but they have them so down that it's like really smooth for them. And they catch us messing up.
It was really interesting playing Jeremy for my round 1 pick, because like it was a lot smoother on his end of like he knew what all my cards were. He didn't really have to ask if I played a card or if I did this trigger. I think he reminded me of triggers 2 or 3 times with Mikage. But then to like go from like just hearing Oscar's take on when he played versus his round one opponent. I don't remember if it was Mike or Joshua, but
it's Josh.
But like, okay, yeah. But it's just really interesting, like hearing, because I didn't, I don't really know what each card does, and I was kind of going into it pretty blind, not really knowing, like, oh, okay, wait, who is that? What is this? Like, what does that card have? Which keywords and stuff. So I think next time if we do it again, I'll probably try and be a little bit more aware, for sure.
Yeah. But it's been fun. I just realizing Colin really hadn't weighed in too much on it. It's just been you and me. I didn't know if he wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty straightforward. I think, like, I had a couple mistakes and stuff, but both visually and overall gameplay was, I think, got better with round, or the second round where I played against a different opponent, and it sort of figured stuff out. But yeah, it's pretty fun being able to physically play a card game for a little bit. Because it's been a while since we haven't been able to go to our locals or anything. Mm-hmm. We probably could now, but
I don't think she's
there's
open.
still a lot going on. What?
She's not open yet.
I thought it was in a limited capacity, but
was it? I may have missed it, but from my head, she just remained closed.
Yeah.
But, no, I've been enjoying it. I wouldn't mind doing it again on the other set. Maybe if next cluster, even the sets are more balanced throughout all colors in a single set, it becomes a little bit more fun. Diverse, if not more fun, in the types of decks being run, which would be cool.
Oh yeah.
A little more difficult too for the deck building, because I feel like hitting 25 isn't as big of a risk right now with the way the sets are built, as opposed to it was when everything's evenly distributed and you're trying to scramble to build a deck.
Yeah, this set especially, and I feel like, from hearing your guys' opinions on, I think, the last two sets, it's just like there's a fairly obvious best color, and in this one it was definitely like green, black, white stuff, and so when I was
Wait, did you say there's a best color? It was 3 out of the 5 colors were the best color? Right. Is that what you just said?
I pretty much went through my cards, and it was completely obvious what my 3 colors were going to be. It like my deck basically built.
Isn't there pretty much only 3 colors in this set?
No, there was red and blue. It was entirely 2 other colors. And
but was there more than 3 cards of those?
Yeah, there was equal support for Reflector Frame compared to
okay.
Obviously they didn't share the green color, which is why obviously green, white, and green, black was the best choice there. But,
yeah.
But my point is that red blue was terrible. If you drafted red blue, you would have gotten destroyed.
Well, it's dependent on the ruler for a lot of it to trigger the calmness and stuff like that, which you can't physically do. So I ran the dragon in my deck, the 4-cost dragon, but it's just a 4-cost vanilla with a bunch of text that does nothing because I don't have calmness or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's just a weird set. So hopefully the next.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes back to what I was talking about. Looking at it, there's 18 light cards and 9 each of red and blue, and then green only has 4. So it's once we get those even distribution numbers, it's when things become crazy to see how they go.
Yeah.
Which hopefully that's how next cluster goes in for set 1. We still have AO4 to go through though before that. Which I'm not sure what the colors in that will be, because we have a multicolored ruler, a darkness light ruler, and I'm assuming it was black-red. I'm already forgetting for the Melgus. No, for the Lapis.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Is Lapis not going to be black-white?
No, Dark Alice is black-white.
Oh. I haven't even
I'm
thought about it.
pretty sure he's black-red, which is kind of like he's been sometimes as well.
Yeah, he has been.
With a few of the cards.
I just figured maybe it'll be... Cool.
Yeah. Add tinfoil hat on these, by the way, saying that these are going to be Ascended Lapis and Dark Alice rulers, because that'd be pretty crazy.
Like base original Lapis? because he was kind of nutty.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It makes sense since that would be the Alice Cluster version.
Getting Moonwill would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And they did set up for Moonwill, yeah.
It did. But like, was it Ruler School's little announcement they had like 3 weeks ago on their podcast, 3 weeks ago, where the next set, which comes out in August, they said would have no reprints inside of it. But we still need the Dual Stone at least, so that's one possible reprint, however they present it, to still be given. So,
well, and they said no reprints inside the set itself, but are there starter decks?
No, there was no starter deck advertised, just the booster box.
Oh, okay.
When they did that announcement on ACV2.
Okay.
Or ICV2. It's ICV2.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because it goes back to 36 booster pack boxes as opposed to the 20s that we've been getting, which assumes price goes back to the $80-$90 retail price sticker range, but obviously you'd find boxes around 70 to 80 range, depending on the seller you found online or stores and how they run their prices. So
yeah,
we'll see. As I'm bringing it up, because I'm curious how the distribution of colors would be with those specific colored rulers and all that. That's all I had for tonight, unless you guys had something else you want to bring up.
No.
All right. Well, if you guys are interested, you can always head over to the patreon.com/TCG Scrubs, become a member, and listen to the Patreon podcast over there. When we do the Patreon podcast, we're actually usually playing Team Fight Tactics, so if you're familiar with it, you can come join us. That's been a game I've actually been into a lot more. I will actually admit more than Force of Will. I would play about 3 to 4 hours a day, except for recently, because I got kind of burnt out in the set, and a new one comes out Wednesday, actually, when it releases. So I probably will be on the entire day playing the new set when it comes out. I'd say, hey, maybe I'll stream, but hey, I'm probably not going to, and I don't want to set this little precedence that you think I'm going to, and then you get there and I'm not there. So I don't know. Keep an eye out. Maybe I will. Maybe one of these guys will once they're off of work and they're playing with me. But it's just something I actually play a lot, and we can obviously talk about a lot as well. If you guys are ever interested, let us know in the comments if you play TFT, Team Fight Tactics. And
yeah, it's pretty interesting set. I'm pretty excited.
yeah, we'll see y'all at the Patreon podcast.